Hello and welcome to my channel, Duckpotatoe's World. My name is Katie. I am Mrs. Duckpotato, and this is Vlogmas Day 15. So good morning, good Sunday morning. I hope you are having a glorious fourth Sunday of Advent. This is an exciting Sunday for us. We have our choir's annual Christmas concert tonight, and I'm very excited to be participating in that. I love to sing in the choir. I love to sing in the shower and in the car and in my office and in my house and outside and pretty much anywhere that I am. I love to sing, and our annual Christmas concert is always so wonderful and such a beautiful experience. So if you are seeing this in time and if you are local to the Lindale area, then 5:30 and 7:30 tonight at First Baptist Church of Lindale, there's a Christmas concert that I know you don't want to miss. But that does bring us to the discussion of Luke chapter 14, and I am going to use my notes. I know it opened with Jesus healing on the Sabbath again, and this time was a little different. I noticed that he healed the person with dropsy. I'm not really sure what dropsy is, but I think it's like gout. And when the Pharisees fussed at him about it, he said, "Who of you would not rescue your son or your ox if they fell in a hole?" Like if they were hurt on a Sunday, you wouldn't say, or a Sabbath, it wasn't a Sunday, it was really Saturday for them. But you wouldn't say, oh, well, guess you have to wait till the Sabbath is over and just stay in the hole. You would get them out of the hole. He's like, how can I not heal these people when they come to me, even if it's a Sabbath? They're hurting, they're injured, they need healing. And of course, the right thing to do is to help others. I don't think he had made it quite that clear that we've read so far. And I think the Pharisees knew that he was right, because it says they couldn't answer him. They couldn't argue with him. So it amazes me that they knew what was right and they still grumbled about it. Like every single one of them would have wanted Jesus to heal their son or their daughter or their wife or their servant if they were ill or hurt. So it's just interesting. And then from there, I think Jesus talks about, so he tells us some parables about some feasts. He tells us about the wedding feast, and it's a parable about being humble, about humility. I think humility is such a big theme for Jesus because nobody can seek salvation through Jesus so long as they think they can save themselves. And the Pharisees clearly thought that they could follow the law well enough to save themselves. Of course, that's not possible. No one can keep the whole law. Acts 16:21 says, believe in the Lord Jesus and you will be saved. James 2:10, I think, says, for whoever keeps the whole law but fails in one point has become accountable for all of it. It's not enough to keep some laws. You have to keep all the laws perfectly, and it's simply not possible. But as long as you think that it is, your pride in that is going to keep you from being made right with God. And so I think the parable about the wedding feast, where Jesus is saying, don't go sit yourself in the place of honor out of pride, because you might not be the most distinguished guest, and then you will have to be humbled and asked to move. But go seat yourself in the place of humility and let others raise you up. And I think that is a reminder that our pride is a problem. It keeps us from being able to be right with God. Then he talks about the feast that was prepared and the guests were invited, and when it was time for the feast and they went out to gather the guests, all the guests suddenly made excuses not to come. And because they refused to come, others were invited that hadn't originally been invited. The poor, and after they had gathered all the poor and the needy and the infirm, they still had room, and they went out further to gather more people. And the master of the feast said that the original guests would not have a bite of his feast because they scorned their invitation. And I think that's a picture of Israel. They were the chosen people, and the Messiah came to them, and they didn't respond. They were too set in their ways, too convinced that they understood the law perfectly and that Jesus couldn't be the fulfillment of the prophecies. And so they rejected and didn't rightly respond. And so Christ opens up the message of salvation to the Gentiles everywhere, and people everywhere from around the world are called to the feast. Then we have another parable about a feast. I guess I didn't need my notes that much after all, did I? We had another parable about a feast, and in this feast, no, I think I skipped the parable. The first parable about the feast was that when you have it was more of a reflection on humility again. When you have a feast, don't invite other people that you know are going to invite you back and just have a feast to see and be seen. But instead, use it as an opportunity to serve those less fortunate than yourselves. Invite the poor, invite the needy, invite the infirm, invite people that can't repay you. This is a way to honor God and to show humility. That feast parable was first, and then the one about people not showing up when they were invited. I think that's the order it went in. And then the last bit of this chapter was all about counting the cost. Jesus says that it'll cost you to follow him. But the point is that we are called to follow him with our whole hearts, and when we do, what he gives us is so much better than whatever it was that we had to give up. If we had to give up our family or our fun or our job or whatever, he said, be aware, it's going to cost you something to follow me, but know that you're going to be blessed beyond when you do. And that's important for all of us. It's so easy where I live. It's easy to be a Christian. So many people around me are Christians. It's not, and I mean active, Bible-believing, authentic Christians. It's easy to be that way because very rarely is there any opposition to anything, but sometimes there is a cost. And we need to know and be aware of it and be willing to pay it if we're asked of it. I mean, everything I have, everything I am, is all because of Christ anyway. And he has blessed me, unmeasurably. I don't know what the right word is. I make up, my friend Jennifer says I make up words. But he's blessed me beyond words. I can't express the grace and mercy that my Savior has bestowed on me. And everything that I have is because of him, and he can take it back. And I need to remind myself constantly to hold everything in an open palm, because it's all from him and for him, and I need to make sure I'm aware of the cost. And whatever the cost is to follow Jesus, I pray that God will make me willing to pay it, willing to give it, and that I will follow him with my whole heart. And I hope that that's your prayer too. I did finish my shawl through day 14, so I'm all ready to pick up 15 and see what the next color will be. But here is our work so far. Beautiful, 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 beautiful shawl. There's the neck end. It's absolutely lovely. I don't really know the best way to hold it up so you can see it all. Maybe this is it's getting kind of so big that it's hard to show. Hopefully y'all can see it all there. We've definitely gotten into some brighter colors down here on this end. I'm loving all of it. I'm hoping, here I am making predictions about the color, but I'm hoping we're going to go in a turquoisey green direction. That's really blue, kind of the only color, part of the color wheel we haven't hit yet. So I'm hoping, y'all know my colors are kind of like salmon and like a teal, kind of aqua green. Those are kind of the colors of my channel. I'm kind of hoping we're going to move into some of that teal aqua green next. But I don't know, so we will have to open it and see. As I've been knitting this, I've just been thinking, I've had the great blessing to have carried 4 children. And I carried, one of them was a premature baby, but the other 3 I carried full term. And I'm so grateful to have this project to work on while we're waiting. I keep thinking of Mary, coming toward the end of her pregnancy. And I don't know if Mary knit or if knitting was even invented back then. I'm not really sure how. I think knitting is not the oldest handicraft. Probably weaving or something like that was more common back then. But I wonder if she worked with her hands, made things for the baby Jesus while she waited for him, like a little Jewish layette. While she waited for her baby. I'm enjoying having something to work on while I wait for Christmas and while I think about the wisdom and the words of Jesus in the book of Luke. Definitely enjoying that. I actually had this out at my son's Civil Air Patrol meeting the other night, and I kept getting lots of compliments on it and people asking about it. So it's definitely quite the statement piece. It attracts a lot of positive attention, and it is so beautiful. Very happy with it. But now it's time to open bag number 15. Ooh, I This one's kind of undone already. Oops. There we go. All right. I'm so excited. Oh, that's the goodie. Oh, this is like a nail file. This is a great thing. I like to keep one of these in my project bags. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I try to keep my nails done because otherwise, I bite them. I'm a horrible nail biter. I've bitten my nails as long as I can remember, but if I keep them painted, I don't usually bite them as much. But they're also very brittle, and they break and they peel really bad. And keeping them painted kind of helps them not get tore up so bad. But because of that, I'm often snagging my nail, and then it snags my yarn when I knit. So I love having a little emery board. I'm going to put that right in my project bag. And now we're going to see the yarn. Oh, wow. It's not blue. It's gold. Almost the same color as the bag. Look at that. That is beautiful. Like, oh gosh, it looks like a beach or a lion. That's a really beautiful gold. All right, so that is going to be gorgeous next to that yellow that we did yesterday. So today we are going to read Luke chapter 15. We are going to add day 15 to our project. And I will see you back bright and early Monday morning for Vlogmas Day 16. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, exploring the book of Luke, and working on Advent projects or whatever projects that you're working on. And like I always say, you do not have to be doing the Hot Springs Fiber Company Advent to hang out with me. Just come and work on whatever you're working on. Join me in reading the book of Luke, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Merry Christmas.